Okay, so I'm going to explain to you guys what you have to do to be ahead of 99% of people in 2026. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is scrolling. Okay, now the people who sit on their phone and scroll, and they keep on procrastinating, they're okay with their being average, being in a bad position. I'm not okay with that. So, you have to start changing your mindset. If you are fed up with the position you're in, good, because then you'll actually be willing to put in more effort to get yourself out of that situation. But if you're okay with being in a bad situation, you have to immediately change that. Okay, otherwise you won't end up achieving anything. Okay, now because of that, that correlates directly to scrolling. So if you're scrolling on your phone, procrastinating, you're just saying, you know what, I'm okay with only putting in some effort to get some results, and I'm not okay, I'm not willing to put in all the effort to get all the results. Okay, if you put in all of your effort, you'll get all of your results. So if you think you'll get all of your results by putting in some effort, you are just being arrogant. There's no other way to say it. Okay, so you have to mentally change your mindset so that you're like, you know what, I'm going to put in my 100% effort, because that is the only thing that I care about, and that is what I have to do in order to achieve every single one of the things that I want in my life. Now, the second thing is quitters. Now, I've talked about this before, but I want to dive deeper into it. I'm going to give you guys an example. So, online, I've seen these dudes who, let's say they go to the gym for a year, they're consistent, and then they take a year off, and then they go to the gym for another year. It's like you're just not even trying. You're not even putting in any effort. You're just putting in half the effort. So I'm gonna outwork you. I'm gonna put in more effort than you and achieve more as a result. And it's that simple. And they will always mentally lose. They will always have a lack of confidence after that time that they quitted. Because why? Because they just mentally understand and believe that they weren't willing to put in the effort when they needed to put in the effort, and they didn't get stuff done when they needed to get it done. So as a result, it permanently ruins their mind. You might be thinking, oh, it's only temporary. No, it is a permanent problem. So if you quit right now, no one can help you. Okay, I can't help a quitter. God Himself cannot help a quitter. I've said this before. Okay, because the quitters just simply don't put in enough effort, and that is what matters as a man. Okay, if you want to get to the top of the food chain, you always have to put in more effort. There's a reason why back in the medieval times, the person who had the giant battle axe, who was jacked, who had an insane set of armor, everybody was afraid of him. Why? Because he had to spend a lot of time learning to be a swordsman, because he had to craft that sword himself, that giant battle axe, okay? And he had to craft that armor himself, and he had to mentally have a better mindset than everybody else to make them afraid of him, okay? So this is what it takes as a man, and it correlates with today, because if you don't put in the effort towards your empire, if you don't work towards your side hustle, or like I am towards my YouTube, then you won't end up getting your results. Now, I could have chosen today, because I am going to become a lifeguard, so I was trained to become a lifeguard today, and I actually put in the effort. So now I'm not just going to be a shallow lifeguard; I'm going to be a full lifeguard, okay? Because I put in the effort and I actually swam fast and I actually dived into the 14-foot deep pool and got the 10-pound brick and came back up and actually tried. I didn't just give up halfway in between, not having the self confidence that I would be able to, do it. So this is what it takes. And I don't feel sorry for the people who sit around and complain, because I chose to do the video right now. Okay, I might have been tired. I might be tired right now. I might be a little bit exhausted from doing the lifeguard practice or whatever. But I chose. You know what? I'm not going to be a loser today. I'm going to outwork the person who decided to quit today. After doing the lifeguard practice or whatever they may have been doing, because I want to achieve more than they are going than they want to achieve. Because I'm willing to put in more effort than they are willing to put in. It's a very simple concept. All this stuff correlates. And so the other thing is procrastinating. Okay, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you sit around and procrastinate all the time, and you're okay, again, okay with your substandard reality, okay with being average. So you just sit around and procrastinate and scroll. You're just not going to get anywhere, because you're not even going to. Nothing's going to change until you get up and take action and actually put in the effort. Otherwise, nothing is going to change. Now, you have to mentally change your mindset and think of it this way. Okay, what do you gain from scrolling? What do you genuinely gain from playing video games? What do you gain from watching social media? What do you gain from it? Okay, you gain nothing. Okay, you will never achieve anything major in life by scrolling. You're just going to sit around, and the other thing is, you're never going to remember this moment that you're scrolling. Okay, you were never going to remember it. You want to know why? Because you've done it 50 times and you're doing it 5 hours a day. Do you think that's going to help you achieve your goals? No. So when you lie to yourself and say you're putting in all of your effort, and then you scroll for 2.5, 3 hours a day, you're not trying. Okay, you're just lying to yourself, and as a result, you're also going to have less self-confidence. So this all correlates. Okay, so this is honestly what it takes. If you can't do this, you are not going to achieve anything major above mediocrity. Okay, because this is what it takes. Okay, so if you keep on scrolling, if you keep on procrastinating, if you quit, if you do any of these things, you're just okay with being average, then I don't feel sorry for you. Okay, it doesn't matter how successful I become. I will never be satisfied. I will always want to try harder and always want to improve no matter how successful, no matter how amazing I become. Okay, so that is the mindset you have to have. Okay, I'd rather die than be a loser. Literally, I can't even fathom the reality of being a loser who doesn't put in the effort because I'm not okay with it. I'm just not mentally okay with that. I cannot accept that as a reality. So if you have this mindset, you are guaranteed to be ahead of 99%. In fact, 99.99% of people in this world today. So that's all I wanted to talk about today, guys. I thank you guys so much for the support. Other than that, that's about it. Thanks for watching.